That was my elbow. Oh man, we got so what we're gonna talk about this episode is that we all got together and played some EDH and we played with the stuff that Magnor Criol sent us. But
Mm-hmm.
it'd been so long since I sat down to play Magic with Brian that I forgot that I'm just sitting there and I just casually reach my arm out and pop my elbow that Brian is gonna like crumple into a ball and cry.
Yeah.
I was like, crack! And I was like, oh, that felt good. And Brian's like,
It's
ah! I'm like, oh, sorry, I
yeah, it's
forgot.
some people have things that just turn them off. Like when I say the word moist, some people just somebody did a study and like the word moist, something about the way that word forms, it people like have a physical reaction to the word moist. As you can tell, it doesn't affect me, so I'm just like moist, 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 moist. Um,
Ow! Ah!
we're not recording right now, right?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay. Well, this is what you paid for then. Hopefully, you didn't pay to,
Uh,
moist. But yeah, I hear his elbow pop. I'm okay with it. Like now, I hear it a little bit. I'm like, meh. But like in person, right by my ear, I'm like dry heaving just a little bit.
well, that last sound you heard was accompanied by me going ow. Was not me popping my elbow. It was me slamming my elbow into my desk like an idiot.
Hmm.
So I'm guessing you liked that one.
It was all right.
That's a minute and a half. Nah, we should probably keep filling. Keep filling.
Yes, sir. Hey, Dark,
Season your.
go fill yourself. I guess I don't know.
That's hot.
So did Sam get to meet her teacher tonight?
Yes,
She excited?
she is. If I sound a bit subdued, it's because she's I'm a little tired, and she got in a little bit of trouble when we came back this evening. So for some unrelated stuff, but she was really excited. I think she'll be very. Um, she's really eager to get going next week.
Yeah. I am exhausted because knowing that there was going to be open house, um, when I was at school, it began to thunder and pour and everything, but I left at a quarter till 4. Okay?
Yeah,
So as I'm driving and everything, all is well until I hit Stratford. At which point, I looked at my phone and realized there is no way I can take 40 home
No.
because it's backed up from Stratford all the way to 311.
Yep.
Carrie goes a very similar way home, Stratford to 40, and she double checks because especially since Business 40 has been closed, it has shunted a ton more traffic onto regular 40. So she checks at 4:30 when she gets off. When she gets off between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, she checks, and a lot of times she will take an alternate route home that does it takes like an extra 15 minutes, but she's not stuck in traffic the whole way, like just sitting.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah,
actually take an extra 15 minutes.
well,
Because
that's what
otherwise you're
I've
not
done the
moving.
past 2 days in a row
Yeah.
is I've had to take alternate routes to get home, and it adds 15 minutes. So I had to pick up the kids and take up to open house. So I showed up at 5:30 at open house. I left at a quarter till 4.
Nice.
I didn't show up at open house until 5:30. I'd almost been in my car for 2 hours.
Yeah, since I've been driving for Winston again, dude, Stratford and 40 start backing up at like 3:15.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid.
Yeah, I'm thinking like I'm gonna attempt to just bypass it altogether and just come in the way I'm gonna probably end up gonna start going to work.
It's almost certainly better.
Oh.
But all right, that is definitely enough fill time. Now that we've bored everyone watching to death with talk of traffic, let's get to it. Ow! Oh, jam! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 564 of the Mana Pool, and I am Chewy.
Hi, Chewy.
Damn it, I knew that was you too. You guys can't fool me. I am the lead dork, and I'm here to try to make sure that we don't, blow up things or kill each other or something. And with me, as always, are these other dorks. Hi, dorks.
Hi, I'm Brian, the lead Rambler Tangent Master of the group, and I promise not to kill anybody. I cannot promise about not blowing things up.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy, and I promise not to cuss at anybody because serious cussing is not allowed on the Mana Pool.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive in moral comps of the group, and I promise not to cast any slivers today.
Thank goodness. So, this episode is going to be a little weird, a little different. So, as you might know, I have no idea when he sent it. Let's see. Nope. Gift? Hang on. No. When, here we go. Opening a mystery package. So in June, I got a mystery package that was from our long-time listener, Magnor Criol. And in it, we got a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of cards, custom cards, and a bunch of, just a whole mess of cards. Just a stupid amount of cards. All in a box. And it was a pile of cards for us to play with the next time that we all got together, which happened this weekend. Yay! Last weekend.
Yeah.
The one that just
Thank
happened.
you guys for coming over and not destroying my house.
Yay!
Most of my house.
We can't destroy your house. That's what you have animals for.
That is, in fact, what I have animals.
See?
Yes. And an 8-year-old.
Oh, she wouldn't hurt a fly.
Huh. It's cute that you think that.
I don't really. It's just somebody out there was thinking it, and I wanted you to laugh at them.
Thank you. It's nice to laugh at other people. Wait, no, it's not. Anyway.
So, yeah, we got together this weekend, and we played one game first of Commander, and it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think I won that one. No, I didn't win the first one. But it doesn't matter.
So...
Because we didn't actually... I didn't take any recording equipment because I wanted to have fun for a change instead of stressing about the
Noises,
recording
kids, dogs,
and,
cats.
Yeah, kids and animals and noises, and is the mic picking us up, and Dirk speak up, Mike stop mumbling, just did we...
What's that card you just played? It's
because the listeners can't see it. It's just none of that. But we did, after we played our first game to warm up, we played 2 more games using the Magnor Stack. Magnor Pile?
Yes.
What are we calling this?
I kind of like stack more than pile.
Yeah.
Pile just sounds like, oh, it's just a pile. So, whereas this was a beautifully constructed, thoughtful work of art, really. So, I'm going to go with stack.
Yeah.
The Magnor Stack.
The Magnor Stack. That's a good episode name. So, there we go.
Also, you can use all sorts of, using the stack jokes. So,
but with that on the stack,
exactly.
I will punch you.
So,
chat asked, did Mike pick you up or did you have to drive yourself? No, I had to drive to the dealership first and drop off a car and fill out paperwork from a drive the previous night that took too long.
But Chewy was committed enough that even with that, he still came over to play Magic with us, which is great. Because the last time we got together, he stayed away because Sam had strep.
Yeah, and Strep jumps on me from 1,000 miles away. I think we told this story back then. But
We did. We did, but so it had been like literally a year, something like that, since Chewy had played EDH with us. If not a year, awfully darn close. So Chewy was committed.
Yeah. I mean, and I hurt my back the night before, so, and I had some stomach issues at like 2 in the morning. So instead of getting to Brian's house at like 9:15 ish, I got to Brian's house about, I don't know, 10:15. But I got the car turned back to the dealership. I got all my paperwork filled out so that the old man and I would get paid because it was a 2-person drive. And then I got to Brian's house and it was awesome. So we figured this, now that we've played with a large chunk of them, we would talk about some of these cards and the circumstances under which we played them, because some of them were pretty funny.
They were pretty hilarious. Now,
Yeah.
I don't want you to think that this is what I'm going for, to give a play-by-play of the game, because that would be ridiculous.
And
That'd be even
impossible.
worse than recording it at the time. But I did want to just say that for this first game, I was playing, just to put in some context, my new Yannette Cryptic Sovereign deck. It's Esper colors, and it tries to do a lot with snow stuff. And I think it's important to put a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about in context, that I had a turn 0 blue ley line. I'm looking through the deck right now. The
Anticipation?
Anticipation, yes.
Yeah.
ley line of anticipation, which is going to be kind of important because I'm casting stuff all over the place. So, sorcery speed be damned.
Yeah, he only cast anything during his turn when he had to.
We absolutely had to. But so I just want to point out that when I'm talking about some of these Magnor cards, and like that's a sorcery or a creature, whatever. Time bends to my will. So
It really does.
yeah,
So, I don't actually know the best way to do this. Because they're not in any particular order in this pile. I kept separate the ones that we played with.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that
Well-
we could, one, not play with them before we hit the rest, and also so we could talk about them.
Yeah. Well, if we don't have to go in order, may I? There's been one I've wanted to talk about right from the get-go. This is from this. This is the second game. I don't want any response from the dorks initially. This is one of the reasons I'm glad we're streaming. I want to ask the audience in a flavor fight. If this was an episode. If this wasn't if this was an episode where we are talking about our mega ultra whatever fight, and the two options were Mogus, God of Slaughter, or a Mimeoplasm, and the Mimeoplasm is a what was it? It was something that had a bunch of counters on. What was it a copy of?
It was a copy of
the Tajnar Swordsmith.
yes.
Tajnar Swordsmith, and it had what, 12?
Yeah, it had 12 counters
And
on
it had
it.
12 counters on it. So it's a Tajnar Swordsmith, that cat from Mirrodin, and it's like super pumped up, or however you want to do this flavor wise, because it ate a 12/12. Oh, it was a copy of a Masamaru. You know what? I wasn't playing I wasn't playing that deck because I was playing a green deck in the second game, and it had was it Masamaru?
Yeah,
And
it got the counters from Masamaru, yeah.
Right, and I had 6 cards in hand. So, without saying what was happening at the time, I want to know from the from the audience, especially from the stream audience, who would win in the flavor fight? The Mimeoplasm, that's a copy of the big cat, and we're not just a big cat, but like a giant cat, or the literal god of slaughter. I want to know, what do you guys think? Who would win?
All right, chat. We're opening it up to you.
Yeah,
And then I'm going to
'Cause
show
you
you
guys-
something.
you guys have no dogs in the fight, so to speak. So
So, Mogus, the god of slaughter, let's see, is a 7/5.
Yes.
And at the beginning of your upkeep, you have to sack a creature or take 2? Or something like that?
During each opponent's upkeep, they have to sack a creature or take 2 damage.
Okay. And then
And
the
he's
Tarstar
indestructible.
Swordsmith was had 12 counters on it, so it was a 14/15, is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Okay.
So,
All right, so Pinball Witch says on a long enough timeline, the god. All right. Dementor says god. Altheel says the plasma. Oh, the mimeoplasm.
yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Thing.
Luby Loki Love says Mogus. All right, so the chat right now is on a 3-1 vote here. Oh
Depends
yeah,
on
the
the
swordsmith
swordsmith.
was holding Umazawa's Jite. Was that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it didn't have any counters on it.
Right. Wait, I can't remember if it had the Jitty or the... It had the Basilisk collar on it.
That's right.
It had both.
It had a
It had both,
basket.
yeah.
Yeah.
It had the Jitty and Basilisk collar. Had both.
Yeah.
So Pinball Witch then throws it to the cat plasma thing.
But Mogus is still indestructible.
So, but again, we're talking about a flavor fight here.
Correct. And if it matters, he was turned on. Like he was a creature.
Yeah, he was devoted enough,
Yeah.
or his people were devoted enough to him. So a little bit. So we're seeing a little bit of a split, about 2-2 or so. Pinball Witch then switching to the cat plasma ooze thing. So I
Yeah,
guess
the cat
one
plasma
of the,
who's thing, yeah.
yeah. So I think I actually misspoke earlier when I mentioned playing the ley line, because this actually happened in game 2. I was actually just looking through the Yannette deck, and I know I played that in game 1. It doesn't have that ley line in the deck, so I actually had it on turn 0 of the second game, which I was playing Damia, Sage of Stone, because again, playing stuff in your turn is for suckers. So sorry if I was a bit misleading there. Not that it really matters a whole lot, but
Yeah,
it is
literally
it matters,
no one cares but you.
But it matters.
I was
here.
about to care a whole lot.
It matters
because it
here.
involves sorcery being
It
played during combat.
It involves a sorcery being played in combat. So here, yeah, indestructible doesn't stop -1/-1 flavor. So flavor wise, it's weird. Yeah. So again,
That's why it's a flavor fight and
yeah.
not.
So can we show them the card? Or
Yeah,
do we
so
just
I'm
describe
going to
it?
show you a row of cards here. It's the one in the middle that matters. It's this one. It's Flavor Fight. Which, for 1, a red and a green, is a sorcery. Choose 2 creatures. Every player at the table debates which one would win in a flavor fight. The losing creature's controller sacrifices it. The winning creature's controller puts a +1/+1 counter on it.
So
The flavor text is Super Caliber Mortal Awesome Go 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 Tournament Fight versus Capcom Volume 2.
oh, that was the best one. Turbo?
No, not Turbo.
No. So I can't play as.
Yeah, no.
So I had drawn the flavor fight from the stack and passed. Dirk at this point was actually packing up to leave. So this is one of the last things he saw, and actually resolved after he finished leaving. And passed, and Mike makes his giant mimeoplasm attack Chewie. And before blockers are declared, it's one of these things where I kind of part of me just wanted to play it for the lulz, but part of me also said, all right, Mike was at a relatively low life. I was at a relatively low life. Chewie was playing his Mogus God of Slaughter. No, not that wasn't the
Karavek.
Karavek.
Yes, deck. And before combat damage, I didn't know if I necessarily wanted Mike gaining what did we say, 14 life. So I'm like, okay, whichever way this breaks, I win. So I cast out the flavor fight at instant speed thanks to my ley line, and I picked the Mogus and the mimeoplasm. and that started a rather intense debate between the three. Dark was a little like, I think Dark, what did you say? And then you're like something like, I don't know. He said something about like, there's three of you, so this way there won't be a tie, so I don't care. Bye. Something like that.
Yeah,
So-
this happened just as about the time Dirk needed to leave to go do stuff with the family.
Right.
So he was packing up.
Yeah. So it was a little hilarious, and all of us felt a bit invested. Well, the other two certainly felt more invested in the outcome than I did. But again, no matter what happens, I'm not losing a creature, and one of them is losing either a god or a giant mimeoplasm. So we had this debate took what, like 10 minutes or so. Of course, it was broken up a little bit by saying bye to Dark and his youngin. But it was a good debate, and I felt like everybody had a chance to be heard. And in the end, we decided over Mike that Mogus would win, given enough time. Given enough time, that he is in fact, Mogus is a literal god, and as long as he had enough followers around to keep him active, then the mimeoplasm could wail on him, and he'd wail back, and eventually the mimeoplasm would just die. So, isn't Mimeo an ooze? Isn't it? Is it not? It's technically whatever it's copying. So, it was a cat at the time. But so that I knew I wanted to mention when Chewy said this is what we're talking about. I knew I had to mention that one because it was awesome. It was something. It involved a level of play that felt almost like an unset, like a silver bordered card. Because you're not going to just ask the table, hey, who wins in a flavor fight? But it was impactful on the game, and it was hilarious. The only downside is it's sorcery speed, except when it's not. It probably needs to be for balance reasons, and, So.
It definitely needs to be for balance reasons.
Yes, it does.
Otherwise, you run into situations like what happened in our game.
Right.
So
Side note.
This, and because it had a basilisk color, Mike was going to gain some stupid amount of life, and I really needed him to stay low so that I could maybe kill him.
Yeah, it would have let me get back into the game in a much more comfortable way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was necessarily like, gotta kill Mike, but part of me was like, if I don't deal with this now, this might be a huge problem for me because I don't really have a way to gain life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in the end, spoiler alert, not that it really matters for any of these individual cards, but Chewy did in fact win that game. So, I think he killed Mike like immediately, and then next turn killed me.
I
will tell you, that game was not a game where I felt like I never did anything. I felt like I was making haymaker plays, and part of that was because of the ley line allowing me to do silly shenanigans when I'm not supposed to, and part of it was, or probably the majority of it was, the stack, the Magnor Stack. So, what's another card? I don't want to be the only one that talks the whole time. So what's a card that somebody else remembers playing that you were like, wow, this was amazing, or wow, that was amazing?
Anybody?
Hello?
Well, give me a second. I'm scrolling.
We well, at some point, we all play a deck scheme. I played the sliver deck.
Not the not schemes, the sagas.
Saga, sorry.
Yes,
I played a saga.
I played the first saga, and it was appropriately enough. It was the Ink Treader deck. Chewy, can you find the Ink Treader deck?
Yeah, okay. So, Magnor made a bunch of these sagas that are based on our decks that we've played over the years.
Yeah, 3 for each of us, I believe.
And here's the Ink Treader deck.
Yeah.
So sagas, remember, they're enchantments, and you add a counter. Is it really after your draw step? Is that right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, that's how they work.
It's basically like right at the beginning of your pre-combat main.
Okay.
I believe the only one I got was the Ink Treader deck, and I got it early on in the first game, and I'm like, this is so hilarious because the Ink Treader deck was one of my decks. And honestly, it was the way it went off was a little interesting. I don't know that it was necessarily as impactful as some of the others, but it was just a treasure because it was like, okay, it's the colors of the deck, and it's 3 of the cards in the deck. It's Magma Jet. The second step is Snake Form, and the third one is Polymorph, but Polymorph as if it hit an Ink Treader. Now, usually when you polymorph an Ink Treader, it polymorphs every creature on the board that doesn't have hexproof or protection. This is just one for each player, but it's toned down in a way where this would actually be, it doesn't break the game in half. So, yeah, I thought this was really cool. And again, I don't think anybody got anything crazy like, oh look, my Blightsteel Colossus or whatever. But it was just super fun, and I think this applies for literally all of these cards. The time and attention to detail that Magnor put into these, I feel like I need to keep going, and I can't spend the whole episode on this, but it floored me how much detail was here. So I had the Ink Treader deck. I know Chewy at one point played the Underworld. Yes, sorry, go ahead.
So I don't remember what happened. So I know you shocked something in Scryed, and then you turned something of, I think, Mike's.
I turned something into a snake.
Yeah.
I don't know that we were really able to do anything about it. I think I just basically drew a card off of it.
Yeah.
And then the group polymorph, I don't honestly, this is one of the, I guess, downsides of not recording it or taking notes, is I don't remember what I got. Again, I don't remember anybody getting anything that was like, oh, that's nuts. But
yeah, I think for me, let's see. I think I was playing the Fumiko Below Blood deck, because I'm pretty sure that the polymorph like turned my dragon into a more different dragon.
Yeah, I think it did. Yeah,
because I played a polymorph.
I think you actually made out better than the rest of us, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm looking through my deck now. I'm trying to see what I would have gotten. Because
I polymorphed one of his creatures, and then the mass polymorph thing rolled around.
Oh yeah,
That's
Dirk
right.
cast an actual polymorph the turn before that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what turned my dragon into a different dragon. And I think the mass polymorph turned it into something a little less.
It turned into a
less
breakneck
astonishing.
rider, is what it was.
That's right.
So you got a werewolf.
Yeah. So yeah, Dirk managed to draw and play the Slivers deck when he was playing his Sliver Overlord deck.
Yeah, that was not cool.
Yeah.
Judge.
That was not cool.
Now, the way this works, by the way, is the Magnor Stack was in the middle, and at the beginning of every turn, we would just draw from that stack. And so it's completely random.
Mana of any color to play the cards and activate abilities of the cards.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Dirk managed to find the Slivers deck. Luckily, he played it on an empty board or close to empty board.
It was very early in the game.
Yeah, so nothing awful happened. But
still, it was like really, really.
Yeah, he started to get. So the way that this works is whenever a lore counter is placed on the Sliver deck, create X 1/1 slivers, where X is the number of lore counters on the Sliver deck. So he got one, and I think he turned it into an Essence Sliver.
Which got killed.
I killed that thing as quick as possible. Then he got two, and he turned something into a Muscle Sliver, and then he got the third one, then he got three the next turn, and they all gained flying, and I think you punched somebody for a little bit?
I remember what happened with the first one is because of the way this is worded, you could go ahead and put the counter on another existing sliver that you already have. He already had out a quick sliver, so he's like, this gets an essence counter. And we're like, yeah, between Flash and Lifelink, we're gonna kill that now. So
yeah.
See, chat says slivers don't punch anyone for a little bit, but Dirk is fairly defensive as a player unless he's going to murder someone.
I didn't have anything substantial, and the person I punched was Chewy. However, Chewie had Urza's armor out.
Yes,
oh
that's true.
yeah.
So it was like, I'm going to attack him with all of these because I think they had vigilance.
He attacked
and
with three
double
creatures.
strike.
He attacked with 3 creatures. They all had double strike, and we're like, that's 20 damage. But then when we figured out with the Urza's armor, he literally took 4.
It was.
Yeah.
I don't think it was
the way
20. I
that
think it was like 13, and I ended up taking
Yeah.
4 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big difference, though.
It was
Yeah.
a big difference just because the way
My
that
God,
double strike
there weren't
worked.
huge yet, and there weren't enough of them out.
Right.
But yeah, I was like,
And then the board
you've
got
got to be
cleared.
kidding me.
And then the board got cleared, as happens in EDH, and
Yeah.
Dirks had to start to rebuild. But yeah, so Chewie, Dark getting the Slivers deck while playing
The Slivers deck was kind of epic.
Who's your commander?
The Overlord.
The Overlord. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was awful. At some point, I played the Underworld Dreams deck saga.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So the Underworld Dreams deck saga has Underworld Dreams as its static ability.
Yeah.
And its first lore counter is everyone acts like there's a Howling Mine next turn. And then its second one is everyone acts like there's a Font of Mythos out next turn. And then the third one is a one-shot to Fairy's Puzzle Box.
Yeah.
So,
Which at least it was a one shot, but yeah. And when that happened, like Mike had 2 cards in hand, and Dark had, 1 or 2, and I had 5. So I think I was probably playing the Damia deck.
you were,
so I'm like,
yeah.
what
That happened on the first game, didn't it?
maybe I'm not remembering when I played I know I played the Damia.
Oh,
deck.
no. I think with the Damia deck was when I was playing Kervek, yeah.
Anyway, Oh yeah, you playing the Underworld Dreams deck when you were playing Karavek.
No.
No, I think these are
Yeah.
different games. Not that it
No,
matters. really.
this one,
Where-
you played this one. This was the second game because the first game I was screwed because I could not hit a land for the life of me.
Who was your commander in the first game?
That was the lightning god, red blue
Keranos?
Yeah.
Keranos.
Okay.
Because like
You
even
did seem
Doug
like you
threw
were
was like there
struggling
were
on
like
mana.
five lands clumped together in 2 separate spots.
It did seem like for most of the first game, we were all using the Magnor deck, and Dirk was sticking pretty close to what his deck
Okay,
just
wait,
playing
Dirk.
normal.
Yeah.
When you say the first game, do you mean the first game we played with the Magnor Stack, or do you mean the first game we played, period? Because I think we're all
you're right.
talking-
You're right.
I think we're all
So
using
this
the wrong
it had to
words.
be in the the
This
first
is
game
in
was
computer.
without the Magnor Stack, and that's the one I was mana screwed
There
on.
we go.
Okay.
Okay.
So the first game with the stack.
Was our second commander
Yes.
match.
Right.
So
But
yes,
the first game with the Magnor stack, who was your commander? Was that the Slivers or
that was Esper, the Sphinx,
Sharum.
Yeah.
Sharum the
Sharum the
Hegemon. Yeah.
Hegemon? That's right, because Chewie played the Sharum deck in the warm-up game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I thought it was interesting that you both played the same commander. Very different takes on it. But so we're all kind of starting to play with some of the cards. The first Magnor card I actually played was Kareem
Oh,
from
yeah.
the Magic RPG. And we had to be, that's where I asked for clarification. I knew I could spend mana to play him, but I wanted to make sure I could spend non-red mana for his activated ability, because otherwise it's kind of silly. Meanwhile, Dirk's over there pretty much just playing his normal cards. Not there's anything wrong with that, but that's because that's what he was trying to set his deck up.
Right.
So, Kareem is one of the cards from the Magic RPG. It's Mike's character, and actually, Dirk, after you left, I showed the guys I had gotten Alaric as well. So over the course of the games, we actually got all 3 of them.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
Kareem,
because I got the angel in one game.
so Mike, you're Kareem. What does Kareem do?
So Kareem, for 1 red, he's a 3/2 legendary human soldier with first strike. And whenever Kareem blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, you can pay red, and if you do, Kareem deals 1 damage to that creature. So that's really good.
I mean,
That's just a good card.
in the RPG, one of the very first encounters, he got the nickname Kareem the Blood Fist by disintegrating a merfolk's head when he punched it. So yeah, he was pretty good. I played him
Been
early on.
downhill ever since.
He died.
It really has.
He died to an early board wipe, something like a massacre worm or something like that. So something along those lines. And then Dirk, you didn't get to play Alaric, but can you see Alaric on the screen?
Yeah. Alaric has reach, tap, Alaric cross, Kessig Monk deals 2 damage to target creature.
Because he's an archer, and your archers, your arrows tend to get where they're intending to go. So
Sometimes. And then there are other times where I couldn't shoot the broadside of a barn from inside the barn.
and then Chewie, you didn't play. Mike played the angel, right? But
Yeah.
the angel's your character, so
Yeah, for white, she's a 2/3 flying angel. The angel sword enthusiast, by the way, is the full name. She gets +1/+0 for each equipment attached to her. And when she enters the battlefield, until end of turn, creatures target opponent controls lose hexproof and can't have hexproof. Because I'm charming.
you are swords. So I just thought those were really neat. And I was sad that I got the one after Dark left, but no, he had to go. It was fine. So, okay. What's another card that somebody felt like, oh, that was crazy, or that was crazy?
We did get to see Mike's fog bank and have a good laugh at my expense.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Where is that?
That was epic.
Yeah.
Where is that? Hey,
It's on
Mike.
page 3 of the custom door cards.
Page 3. Okay, hang on. Scrolling up. I don't have pages. Ah, here we go. Yeah. What's Mike's fog bank do, Mike?
So for 1 and a blue, it's a 0/2 wall with defender and flying. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by Mike's fog bank. Mike's fog bank can attack as though it didn't have defender as long as its power is greater than 0.
And see, this is a great reference to a game where Mike had a fog bank, couldn't attack into it, so I just passed back to him. And he went through the most crazy, insane shenanigans to pump it up. And do they usually have flying?
Yeah, it always has flying.
Oh, it always
I
has
pumped
flying.
up.
Okay.
What it is I changed its creature type to something other than wall.
Yeah, because back
So
then there was no defender. It was just
Right.
the wall creature type that did that.
Yeah, so it could attack now. It involved like stealing things temporarily or permanently from multiple other players. So I changed its creature type and I pumped its power up to, I think I got it up to 20 with whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Oh god,
was
did you
insane.
steal like Dirk's Timberwatch elf or something?
He did
No, he stole a
something
lot of
crazy.
things.
Uh-huh.
It was but it was still like a one-turn shot because I remember that he couldn't repeat it. So
Yeah.
he did everything he could to get up to 20 power. And he looks at me and he's like, attack. And I'm like, all right. Still a fog bank.
And I say, you lose. And Brian says, no, I don't. I'm just like, what? Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and dealt by fog
And there
bank.
was such a glorious string of swearing.
Like, it's not the point of fog bank, but so I love the little references to that sort of stuff. So
So
I
let's
saw
see.
as we were scrolling down, there was also another character from the RPG, the bar wench, the bar.
Oh yeah, the barmaid. Mike played
did
her.
get to- Yeah, I
Mike
did get to
was
play
the
the barmaid. It helped me not
Yeah.
lose for a turn, I think.
Yeah. So the barmaid for 2 and a white was a 1/2 human creature When it enters the battlefield, you create 3 colorless artifact tokens, not creatures, just tokens, named Flaming Joe. They have pay 1 and sacrifice this artifact. Tap target creature. If that creature was already tapped, it doesn't untap during its owner's next untap step. As I recall, you played the barmaid. It was a little late. You ended up dying, and as you were dying, you were like, all right, use the Flaming Joes to tap down a couple things.
Yeah, you tap down one of my things, and then you.
No, I did it preemptively because I didn't want to die to combat, but then I ended up dying to Baneful Omen.
There we go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because Chewie had a Baneful Omen out that most of the time did nothing.
Like, I think the first hit, it hit for like 4 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
And then for the next 3 or 4 turns in a row, it was land. Land.
Yeah.
Land. Baneful Omen says at the end of my turn, I reveal the top card of my library, and all my opponents lose life equal to its converted mana cost.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it would just be like miss, 7, miss,
yeah.
8.
In the course of this game, I played not 1 but 2 of the new green command from Modern Horizons, the one that allows you to destroy up to 2 artifacts or instants, and I kept blowing up. The problem is that Chewie had so many enchantments I needed to destroy, so I ended up actually leaving the Baneful Omen on the board because I couldn't deal with some of his other stuff. And I was like, watch, that'll be the thing that kills me. Yeah, actually.
I think it was, actually.
I think it was. But it was at least the thing that wasn't always killing me. So
accurate.
Yeah.
I got to cast Interrupting Brian at one point.
You did get to cast Interrupting Brian.
Which, for 2 blue, is an instant that says counter target spell. This costs 1 less to cast if it's cast by Brian. I am not Brian. This costs 1 less to cast if it targets a spell controlled by Mike, which it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I countered, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get another chance to use this.
Yeah.
Let me counter that.
And it's not like he can give it to me to counter.
Right.
There was one that I did.
What's that?
To go along with that. That was Carrie's voice.
Yes. I mean,
Shut
originally
down one of Chewie's
misplayed
turns.
it a bit.
So Carrie's voice is for 2 white. Instant. Your opponent can't cast spells or activate abilities of non-land permanents this turn. Draw a card.
Oh, it says your opponents.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
But so
During this turn, yeah.
Dirk tried to play this in response to Mike casting a spell, and like it's not a counter spell. This isn't how silence works. So he took it back, and then during like Chewie's upkeep, he's like Gary's voice, and we're like, all right, good job. That is
because at that point Chewie was getting ready to kill us all, or he was getting ready to do shenanigans that would have resulted in us losing.
Yeah, I had like 2 things I wanted to do that turn too, and I was like, fine.
Yeah, and unlike me, he didn't have a ley line, so yeah. See, yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Plus, the joke here is that Carrie's voice is never heard on the show.
I remember
when I met Magnor, he did say that in early episodes you could hear Carrie 2 or 3 times, way back in the day.
Now, some of the cards that were included in the stack were also just essentially reprints of cards that we have used a lot, so they've come up in multiple episodes.
Oh, yeah.
So I remember that at one point I asked Dirk, I was like, why are you not casting any of this stuff from the stack? And he's like, well, because I don't have anything. And I'm like, and he's like, I've got a land, but I need to cast these other lands. Turned out the land was an Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, and he didn't think he could tap it for mana right away. So he just held off and played. And finally he's like, I guess I'll play this land, but I can't use it this turn. And we're like, no, you can. And he's like, oh, well, I could have done that on like turn 2. And we're like, yeah, probably.
So
I had so much land, it wasn't even.
You were not hurting for land.
I was not hurting for land that second game.
No, you weren't. You were kind of making up for the first game.
Chat requested the flavor text on Carrie's voice is, unlike me, Carrie is always right. Mike, episode 375.
And once again, I just got to say, the attention to detail, the fact that he was able to scour the episodes and find that quote.
I mean, he he listened through the archives and took notes
Yeah.
so he could do this. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But the amount of effort into that is crazy.
Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. A lot of these normal cards have dork flavor text. Like Urborg,
Yes.
Tomb of Yawgmoth's flavor text is somehow not the blackest land you've ever seen. Yeah, in the first game that we played with the Magnor Stack, I kept drawing real cards.
Yeah, I drew. I was like, wait, there's real cards in here? Because like the first 4 cards I drew were all
Like custom
new
cards.
/ made up, like custom cards.
Yeah.
And then I think the first real one I saw was Chewie play the Glorious Anthem.
Yeah, I got
Mhm.
I got Glorious Anthem. I got
Bane of the Living, didn't you?
somebody had Bane of the Living.
Somebody had
Somebody
been
did.
That one wasn't me though. I think that one was
Somebody
Brian.
no, but Chewie did have Brawn
Yeah.
because the flavor text on Brawn.
Yeah, the flavor text on Brawn is in the graveyard. That's also the flavor text on Anger I spotted earlier.
Is it?
Is Anger is in the graveyard.
I don't know. That we got. I know Mike had an Anger because he was playing his the
His
red
Fumiko
deck.
deck, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was his
That was
regular
his
Anger.
I think that was Shor Kadeen. But yeah, that was just a card in my deck.
okay.
It wasn't from the stack.
Okay.
Let's
You
see.
admit.
Other normal cards. I played Congregate and it was beautiful.
It was ridiculous as
That
well.
was
Okay,
stupid.
so this was funny. This was funny because this is the game where I was playing stuff at instant speed, and Mike was doing something ridiculous or dark. I remember it was not me. It was not Chewie.
It was Mike.
And it was Mike, and he went to go. Oh! This was the turn that Mike used insurrection,
Yeah.
and he was going to kill us all.
Because we
and-
had a lot of creatures out, all right?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. I'm watching him do this. I'm holding a damnation from my own deck in hand. And I'm like, I should make him stop doing the math. But let's just make sure he's actually coming at me first.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really do all the math. I just looked and said, okay, I have this much damage to throw around. You all are at this much total life. I think we can easily say that I can partial it out to kill all of you at the same time.
Yeah.
And
So
Brian
I go,
was like, I might have a response.
so I go, damnation.
Wait, no, what Brian says first is, so you're attacking me? And Mike was like, yes. He's like, are you killing me? And Mike was like, what part of, yes. Like, I could tell that Mike was like, I freaking hate you and I wish you were dead. Like, just from the tone
And
in
it's just
Mike's
like,
voice.
just tell me if it's some kind of fog. Just tell me now.
Yeah, and that's what Mike said. He goes, if this isn't a fog effect or something, just do it, because...
And he said, is it a fog effect? And I said, kind of.
And I was holding this copy of Congregate, and I'm like, I was getting ready to cast it to gain a bunch of life and not die and then kill Mike.
So I cast the damnation. And Chewie says, in response, I'm going to cast Congregate. And I'm looking in my separate hand of cards that I've drawn from the Magnor stack is a Tarnation, which is just damnation. Except
it's
because
right here.
with the rules that we've got for this, I could use any color of mana to play it. So I played the damnation first, thinking maybe I'll save the Tarnation. I seriously considered following up the Congregate with the Tarnation because Chewie gained how much life?
Like a zillion.
It
Like,
was,
like a
40
mess
life.
ton.
It was some insane amount of life.
it was a
And
lot.
I'm like, don't do it, Brian. Just let him gain the life. Just let him. But I was tempted. But there was no way I was playing a Tarnation while a Damnation was on the stack. I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
By the way, Tarnation's flavor text is, hey, there's kids here. Thus, it's called Tarnation.
So I found it ironic. There were a couple times where I would draw a card from the deck that was either the same card or a functional copy of a card that I was already playing.
So he had the Damnation and Tarnation.
Yeah.
He had 2 copies of Temple of the False God.
Yes, yes, because I played Temple and I drew off the top of the stack Temple of the False God. I'm like, Mo mana, Mo not so many problems, I guess. So
he had oh god, the Coalition Relic. He had his own copy of that and the Magnor Stack copy of that.
I remember, 2 copies of Coalition Relic, because in EDH you don't usually get to see extra copies. It was crazy. So like I said, I either had completely original cards or there were copies of cards in my deck, which just goes to show you how well Magnor knows me.
I was so mad. He's like, oh, here's another Temple of the False God. I'm like, I hate you.
I'm like, who needs 1 damnation when I got 2?
And then at some point, Mike was going. I don't think he was going to attack me or something, and I played the TMP Nerf report.
Yes.
Oh god, where is that?
Oh yeah.
Hang
Has
on.
a picture of. It has kind of a derpy picture of Mike and Chewie, right?
Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, the TMP Nerf report for X blue and a white is an instant. Choose one. These effects are permanent. Increase the converted mana cost of target permanent by X, or lower the base power or toughness of target creature by X.
You did it to my creature because it was some sort of X4. I don't remember what it was.
I paid 6 for it so that I could kill something.
Yeah. It was something really impressive, and I want to say it was something maybe indestructible, something like that you couldn't really remove. So you're just like, okay, it has... You lowered its toughness by 4. I'm like, yeah, it's dead. So, yeah, I can't remember what it was, but I was a little like, aw, but I was still like, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was something that was wheeling and dealing on the board.
It was wheeling and or dealing. It might have been one of my many Morrow creatures, and it might have been the Sturmgeist, something like that. It was something I didn't want to lose, and it was beautifully played, Dirk.
And the flavor text on the TMP Nerf report, which I don't think we talked about at the time, is we've decided to move the entire Druid and Paladin classes to the Hall of Fame. These entire classes will be playable only in Wild, and we will reveal new replacement classes for Standard at a future time. Stark Maximum. So I don't know if you said that in chat or in the Discord server or what, but there you go. Oh god.
Dark says he doesn't even remember the context of that. Though to be honest, he was just bitter because those are his favorite classes. Right there with you, buddy. Those are 2 of my favorites as well. Those in Warlock and Mage.
I remember Dirk played Gordian Knot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And it actually resulted in him becoming the Monarch.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah, because a board wipe made it go to the graveyard. He became the Monarch. And I think he stayed the Monarch for a very, very long time because, like, just no one dealt combat damage to him.
Yeah. It's good to be the king.
Yeah, so... Hey, Dirk, you got Gordian Knot open by chance?
Yeah.
Okay, what's it do?
For 3, it's an artifact. 1 and tap, scry 1. When Gordian Knot is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you draw 2 cards and become the Monarch.
Pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. And that's when I was playing the artifact deck, so I was like, oh, okay. And then the damnation wiped out everything including artifacts, and so it was like,
was that a disc?
No, it was the disc. A disc.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, because I drew when I was playing my mono black. What is it? Spirit of the Night deck. I drew the Nevinyrral's disc from the Magnor Stack, and Dirk, because I think Mike was building up to like, and it was going to be out of hand, so I played the disc so I could blow it up next turn, and Dirk immediately put it in
a pacify or
an O-ring or something. Like he trapped it under an Oblivion ring, and I'm like, damn it, Dirk! And then I was like, he's got that, and he's gonna kill us all. And Dirk goes, oh, and so he just killed that. And I was like, oh. But then I later, like when something like my other disc, something wiped all the enchantments off the board, I got my disc back. But I had the real disc that's in that deck in my hand. I'm going, this is all stupid.
I use something to blow up or return. I top decked the Miracle that bounces all non-land permanents.
That's what it was, yeah.
So Dirk got his Oblivion Ring back. You got the disc back. And for a minute there, you're like, well, here we go. And then you're like, no, this is miserable. I'm going to blow the disc right away.
Yeah, because having a disc on the board when the board is mostly empty just means people are afraid to play stuff. So I just popped the disc just to get it off the board, knowing I had another one in my hand. Yeah.
The very first card that I played, like I said, was Kareem. The very next card that I played, which is ironic because I love Kingdom Hearts, is Explain the Kingdom Hearts Plot.
Oh, God, where is that?
For 2 and 2 blue, sorcery, although I played at instant speed, I'm pretty sure. Tap up to 3 target creatures. They don't untap during their controller's untap steps. The flavor text is, strap in, boys. This will take several hours, unless you want the long version.
Where is that?
It's on page 5.
I don't have pages.
Oh.
Oh, wait, I guess
sorry.
if I... Okay, up here in the corner, there's a page count.
It's beside John.
There it is! Yeah, explain the Kingdom Hearts plot. Yeah.
Mike, did you play the Library of Alexandria?
Yeah, I did draw the Library of Alexandria. And then I drew another card to replace it.
Where's that?
It's on page 7.
It's beside the Sam quiz.
Oh.
Which I also played the Sam quiz, I believe. No,
Really?
I had it in my hand and at the end of the first game, and we didn't get to do it.
The
So.
Library of Alexandria is a land that just says, you're a funny guy, go away. Discard this card and draw another card from the pile.
Chewie, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Were there tokens in that box?
They're in the other box.
Oh, okay. Because I saw the
Yeah.
art for tokens here. Like I saw the art for the Flaming Joe token, and I'm like, oh, I made Flaming Joe tokens. I don't remember us using.
Yeah, and Dirk was using servos as slivers, and later I was like, oh, there were slivers in here. Not here, but there were.
And there was even a couple of Monarch tokens in there. Dang.
Yeah. So that was our bad. Because we've got the box that the pile was in, and then there was the other, the Heavenly Inferno Commander deck box that had the tokens and a couple of boosters in case we had the booster tutor thing.
Oh, they were in there with the boosters. Okay.
Yeah.
The pictures of the tokens are amazing.
Oh yeah.
I love the servo, which is just a servo motor.
Let's see other stuff. Armadillo Cloak.
Armadillo Cloak.
Oh my gosh.
Mike had something
Got
with
it
an
very
Armadillo Cloak
early.
on it, right?
Yeah.
That got out really early.
I got a very early Armadillo cloak, and it was nice.
Because Armadillo Cloak is great. Chewie, did you or did you not play Beat the Dog Out of You?
I did. The flavor text on Armadillo Cloak is "Don't laugh, it works." But I think that's the real flavor text.
That's
That is the real flavor
text.
That's silly. Yeah, I did play Beat the Dog Out of You at one point. At a very key moment, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Beat the Dog Out of You for 2 and a green is a sorcery that says target creature you control gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Then it fights target creature you don't control. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it is cast by Dirk. I am not Dirk, so I paid 3 for it.
Yeah. He beat the dog out of somebody. And I played relatively early on, not too early. I played Now It's On, which was a very Dirk-centric card. It actually makes a Dirk token for 3 and a green and a white, ostensibly, anyway. It actually is an instant. You create a dark moral compass legendary 5/5 green and white human warrior creature token. That's a lot of things for a creature token.
I'm not seeing this.
It's up at the very top.
The very top of the first page.
It has our pictures.
Oh, okay, yeah.
When you do, you may have Dark Moral Compass deal damage equal to its power to target player who controls a source that dealt you damage this turn. So basically,
I
get
don't
a
remember
dark.
you playing this.
I don't remember you playing it either.
Did I? Maybe that's. I wonder if that's one.
I think it was just in your hand.
Yeah, I think it was maybe never really opportunistic. I mean, instant speed 5/5 is great, but I don't think it ever. I think you're right. I think that was the one that I just kind of was always looking at it and being like, someday.
Want to play.
Didn't Shui play the Graveyard Deck saga at some point? Because you got a heck of
I played the Graveyard Deck.
You played it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was Mike.
That's right. Because I remember that you actually got to the final chapter, the Hecatomb chapter.
Yeah, but I don't think I ended up doing anything with the ability.
Do you want to tell us about it there, Mike?
Yeah, I was just about to. Give me a break.
Yeah, pull it up.
There's
So-
just this long pause.
So
I'm like,
impatient. Jeez.
So the Graveyard Deck costs 4 and a black, and it has a static ability and 3 chapters. The static ability is when you put a lore counter on the Graveyard Deck, if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, you may pay a black. If you do, create a 1/1 black spirit creature token with haste.
yay,
So if
Nether
you have
Shadow.
enough creatures in your graveyards, yeah, it makes little nether shadows. So the first chapter says you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, add black to your mana pool. Phyrexian Tower.
Yep.
I think I sacrificed the spirit I made to get a little boost in mana for the turn. The second chapter is you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, destroy target non-black creature. Pretty sure I also sacrificed the spirit.
That's attrition?
Attrition, yes.
Yeah.
And chapter 3, if there are 4 more creature cards in your graveyard, until your next turn, lands you control gain tap, deal 1 damage to any target. And that's a Hecatomb.
Yeah. I don't remember if you did anything with the Hecatomb, though.
Yeah,
No, I don't think I did. I think I played... Was that the same turn that I had that big X burn spell or something? I don't remember.
Is that the same turn, or did it get wiped?
No,
maybe
you're right. It got wiped.
Yeah, I think the Graveyard Deck enchantment got killed with one of those big board wipes.
Mm-hmm.
maybe.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because what was the deck that, or which game was it that Mike had to lay all his stuff out because he was counting the number of something in his graveyard?
That sounds like something Mike does in his spare time anyway.
Yeah, right?
He had his all spread out so he could count up, because there were 7 of something, 7 different types of...
Oh,
I think that was the very
because-
first game we played without the
That's-
stack.
it
I
was
was
when-
playing Muldrotha, and I needed to count card types for Emrakul.
That's what
Yes,
it was.
and he played an Emrakul, and he took over Chewie's next turn and did almost nothing with it.
There was nothing to do.
There was nothing to do. But that was not with the stack.
Freaking Emrakul. Take him. I was gonna do crazy stuff that turn, and instead Mike was like, eh. And then I did crazy stuff on the second turn because Mike couldn't really screw me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't a good opportunity there.
He was like looking at his cards. He's like, "Wow, if I do any of this, we're all gonna die."
Yeah, at least Emrakul, unlike Mindslaver, is polite enough to give you a turn afterward to make up for it. But
Yeah.
as the person controlling it,
Let's see. Some of the normal cards that got played were like, I had a Constant Mists in hand for some sort of big thing at the end. Like, I was at low life. I think it was just me and one other person.
Mm-hmm.
and I was at low life, and I had a million lands out, and everyone else was at low life, and I attacked with the intention of killing somebody or everybody or something, but I had the constant miss in my hand in case something horrible happened, but I never had to use it.
Yeah.
I played a Palaka Worm and to gain some life because I was trying desperately to gain life against the Karavek deck, and then it died, and then I got it back.
I was gonna say it came back at some point, yeah.
And then it died, and it wasn't enough. But Palaka
is Palaka Laka Laka. Chewy, probably.
And then Chewy also played the Seaborn Muse at one point.
Yeah, I had a Seaborn Muse out that immediately. Well, it got to untap stuff for a couple turns, and then it got killed as well.
I think I killed it because, yeah, no.
And the flavor text is, which is a more Dirk card, this or Haunted of Seeing Winds? And Dirk goes, that's pretty funny. And on his next turn, he played a Haunted of Seeing Winds.
I did.
We were like, let's see. I played a Reaver Demon once.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Brian got out this Karavek.
Yes, I got out of
a
relatively early Karavek. And it died. That's what
Karavek's the one I killed.
That's the one you killed. Yeah. You made its toughness 4 or less.
Oh yeah.
And I brought it back, and it died. And I was in the process of getting it back again when I lost.
Yeah.
And that was the game before Chewy played his Karavek deck. He's like, "Hey, Brian made it look so fun. Guess I'll do that." Yeah.
Brian had a Faceless Butcher at some point.
I did. The flavor text on it was great.
Yeah, anybody got a Phage because of that story where Brian faceless my Phage the Untouchable with a sack outlet sitting there and just looked at me. He's like, "You gonna attack me or someone else?" I guess someone else. He's like, "Yeah." And then eventually,
your life belongs to me now.
Eventually, he sacked the Faceless Butcher to put Phage back under my control, so I lost the game.
Yeah. It's not a very nice thing to do to somebody, but, I mean, it's staring me in the face. It's like, what else are you going to use me for? I'm like, I guess this is it.
And then Mike played the Tika's Dragon at some point.
You did.
Yeah. The sad thing is that I had to play it when there was a Karavek out, so I took 9 damage.
Yes. Yeah. He played it relatively early on, but I had out the early Karavek. Probably because of at least 1 or 2 Temples of the False God. And so you took a lot. And what was the new flavor text on that one?
Not
as legendary as some people think.
Yeah.
Could have sworn that was a legendary creature.
Mike also played a super early Rumbling Slum
He did.
And
I thought, wow, this game
was awesome.
I thought this game was going to be over before we really had a chance to play around with the stack, because he was playing his Fumiko deck, and he got out a Rumbling Slum, and I'm like, all right, okay, what's next?
Yeah, this is bad.
But then the game, settled down a little bit, as EDH games tend to do.
Let's see here. Oh, Dirk had a Flames of the Blood hand at some point.
He just pitched it at Mike.
I think it was at Mike's head, yeah. And the
Yeah,
flavor text on that is, "Oh, that's a nice congregate you have there. Would be a shame if something were to happen to it." Luckily, he didn't have it when I cast the congregate.
Yeah, I was going to say, ironically, Chewy didn't. That was the same game that Chewy congregated, but later. Like, Chewy congregated later.
What else? I know Dirk actually cast the Croson Tusker.
Yes, which was funny. And Mike was saying about how Magnor made a mistake with how he wanted to do this one.
I thought I cycled the Croson Tusker.
No, Mike cycled it. I didn't play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But you were saying about how...
Yeah, I asked him about it not too long after Chewy got it. I asked him about what was going on with the card, because it was the only one where, like, the mana cost and some of the other stuff was messed up, had been changed. Like,
actually, different ways.
And he said he was trying to make some kind of joke with like an instant that cost a green and 2, and it had some alternative cost where you could get a creature or something.
Because
But
we've made that joke before.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
You
he
don't
kinda
ever
like-
actually cast a Krosan Tusker. It's just there for the cycle.
yeah,
Yeah.
But he was having trouble making the joke work, and he just kind of abandoned it. But he forgot to revert the the costs back to the correct values, and
So
it just came out screwed up.
We might print out a thing to fix that up at some point and fix it.
I mean, we know what Krosan Tusker's mana cost and cycling cost are.
Oh, and here it is. It's the bottom card of the cards that we've used. Let's see. I think Brian cast the Siphon Soul.
I cast a Siphon Soul from my own deck.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
could cast the Siphon Soul.
Yes.
That was in the
Oh, okay, yeah.
stack. Brian, didn't you cast the Master of Warcraft though?
I did.
Oh,
And I
God,
essentially
Master
did it to
Warcraft.
like, I think I did it to blank Mike's turn.
He
Yeah.
did.
I was like, nothing attacks. He's like, okay. Because we figured out that I think I had one thing attack. Just one thing that was like ridiculous. Because we figured out that if I have more than one thing attack, he could tell us what it's going at. And
Yeah. So, Master
Mike's stuff
Warcraft, the flavor text on this is, be careful, there's a good chance you were playing this wrong. And this is a thing that we realized at some point after we'd been playing this card for years. Is it doesn't, you don't get control of combat. You just choose what attacks and what blocks. You don't choose where it goes.
Well, and the thing is, you can choose how the blockers block, but you can't choose how the attackers attack.
Right. And
So it's not completely symmetrical.
When we, like, Brian cast it, and he's like, okay, wait, because he'd read the flavor text. He's like, so we're doing this wrong. What happens here? And we explained it, and Brian goes, oh, because he didn't have enough defense himself. If he goes, all of this stuff attacks, and Mike goes, all right, it's coming at you. Like,
I'd be dead. I would have been very dead. Because Mike's deck had out a couple of giant things, including dragon. So I was like, yeah, send out like the 2/2 or whatever.
yeah.
So
Yeah. Stark asks in the chat, can you just cast this on your attack and have opponent's creatures not block? Yes, that's one of your options.
a lot
much,
more
yeah.
straightforward in a duel because you're basically saying, all right, since you can only attack one person or one planeswalker controlled by one opponent, you have a little more control over it.
Yeah.
But in a multiplayer game, it's much more complicated.
Let's see. I think, Mike, didn't you cast a Gravedigger?
I don't know.
Seems like somebody cast the Gravedigger.
I
do
don't
not
know. I cast a Raise Dead spell with Recover from my own deck. I don't recall anyone actually playing a Gravedigger.
Yeah, I'm not seeing Gravedigger in the pile here. I could have sworn someone did. I found the Demonic Tutor at one point and cast it.
You did. I remember that.
The Demonic Tutor's flavor text is, sure, you have to sell your soul for the teachings, but where they really get you is the price of the demonic textbooks. Let's see, what else was really neat here?
Did someone play Insurrection?
I think that was Mike's,
Yes.
though.
Was it your own or was it?
Thinking of the deck that it would have had to have been, it would have been the one for the stack.
Oh, okay.
Alrighty then.
Cool.
So it was really cool how these things were actually quite impactful, you know?
Yeah. Brian cast a Pale Moon on me, which kept me
Did.
from
Jeez.
doing things once.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't use my Cabal Coffers or my the other one,
Mm-hmm.
the one that's not broken, the one that cares about
When it
black
comes to
creatures in
your
graveyard.
graveyard. Yeah.
but I can't remember the name of it. But yeah. So it's at the end of turn, if a player taps a non-basic land for mana, it produces colorless mana instead of any other type.
I also definitely played a Solkanar the Swamp King with the amazing flavor text of Bonk. Once again, trying to gain life against Chewie's deck.
Where is that? Must be, I haven't gotten there yet. Okay. I thought it was up closer to the top.
And then I had a story circle out, but I think I died because
You
it
died.
was an artifact that was coming after me.
No, I
No,
think
you
it was
died
loss
to
of life.
life loss, yeah.
Yeah. Instead of damage. And Chewie played a Haunted Plate Mail, but he didn't rate it correctly, so...
I ended up equipping it to my Nether Shadow.
Yes.
The story circle's flavor text is, so we've got this nice blue-black theme going, but I'm going to name Titanic Ultimatum because I think it really brings things together here. This is a reference to back when we used to do story circles not with Commander, and Brian would always add a fourth color.
Not always.
Always.
But a lot of times. There's a... Dirk played a Reparations.
Well, there's Solkanar. Bonk.
Sorry, I verbed your noun. Here's some gold.
God, Dirk giggled for like
And that's
3
the one
solid
that
minutes.
I died. I
He
just
drew
sat
it,
there feeling
And
it
he's
out.
looking at it, and he's like, and his mouth is moving, and then all of a sudden he just starts giggling, and we're like, "What?" He's like, "I will play it in a minute. Hang on."
Why is... Okay, there's a card
Sorry,
next to
you're now
Coiling...
here's gold.
There's a card next to Coiling Oracle. Why is this card in the historic cards?
Coiling or where? I need a page.
I don't know what
Page 13.
Oh, Shog Goat of Doom is on the historic cards. I did not notice that.
Chewie played that.
I did play Shog Goat of Doom
Yes.
once.
And a Koth, which is
Uh,
further down that page.
Shog Goat of Doom is a legendary goat shaman for 1 and 2 black-red hybrids. He's a 1/0. He gets +2/+2 for each goat on the battlefield, and he gets -1/-1 for each goat permanent in any graveyard. But there were no other goats anywhere to be seen, or changelings for that matter, so he was just a 3/2. But look at him. What a legendary goat.
Yeah.
Let's see. Reparations. I played Guided Passage, which is objectively the best Magic card ever printed, Mike.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, I got the objectively best Magic card ever printed," Mike goes, "Ah," and he knew what it was.
Yes,
He
I
did.
did.
Zoblin Gombi was a thing that I played in one game.
Yes, I remember that.
Whose flavor text? The name is Zoblin Gombi. The creature type is Zoblin Gombi, and the flavor text is, wait, what was that name again? I played a Solana Ledgewalker too, which was the winner of Ravnica's Aura Enthusiast competition every year since 2006.
Yeah,
Mike played Abyssal Persecutor.
I did. Don't forget to kill him off when you're ready to win. And especially don't get in your opponent's way if they want to kill him for you.
Oh, poor Mike.
Gosh, that was...
That was an F&M, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was an F&M. It was one of the
I
most
remember.
epic screw-ups ever.
God, that was it. That was a top deck here in Kernersville before
It was, yeah.
It was
For
closed down.
one shining moment, I forgot it was opposite day, and I actually stopped my opponent from killing Abyssal Persecutor.
And he used like 2 cards to do it.
Yeah, and my opponent was at literally like -13 or something stupid like that.
And I'm sitting there like, what is he doing? But I couldn't say anything because he's playing. So I just like put my fist in my mouth and walked away while Mike successfully didn't win the game. Because your opponent was dumb for trying to kill it. Mike was double dumb for saying Oh my god. I remember I tried to win the first game with the first game we played with the stack. Where is she? I just saw her. With Jaya Ballard. But summoning sickness is a thing, so I ended up not doing that. But I was gonna... Where the hell is Jaya?
Good question.
I know
You
she's
scrolled
on
a
here
minute
somewhere.
ago past
Page
she is.
4.
She's on
Yeah.
page 4, yeah. I was totally gonna Inferno everyone else out of the game and win, but summoning sickness is a thing, and I didn't ever get a chance to cast her and then wait a turn. I kept having to do other things.
I had a Secure Tribe Elder really early, which was amazing because I kept a questionable hand with the ley line. And when I drew it, I'm like, huzzah, no mana issues for me.
Where's he?
Saw him as you were scrolling past him. I actually missed him on my go-through. He's down further.
Somebody is now following, but I'm stupid and put
11.
Freja1122 is now following. Hey, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the pool. Page 11, you say? 10, 11. Sorry, this isn't searchable, and it's in no kind of order, so... Ah, yes, the flavor text is, Hey, Steve! Because of course it is. And now someone else is following. Derek. Hey, look, 2 new followers. Welcome, welcome. Hang on, let me fix that. Streamlabs should go above the display capture. There we go. What else?
I had a Forgotten Ancient in my hand that I never got around to playing because I had too much other stuff I was trying to play out of my hand.
Yeah.
I had a Goblin Assault the whole time.
Oh, wow.
And there's just never... And again, I could have played at instant speed, and it's never opportunity. Sometimes that happens.
Oh, yeah, I did play Koth of the Hammer once.
You did.
Yeah.
Koth is freaking
He died
sweet.
really quick.
I mean, he made a 4/4 that attacked Mike? I don't think it actually managed to make contact.
Sounds about right.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Let's see.
Did I play a Satyr Wayfinder from my own deck or a Satyr Wayfinder from the pile? I don't remember.
There is no telling. Because you would have had him in that deck also.
In the very, very first one, yeah.
Yeah. Satyr Wayfinder's flavor text is awesome.
Yes, I was noticing that.
We'll read it then.
Yeah, once upon a time, Brian and Mike debated whether this guy was worth a spot in a deck. The rest, as they say, is history.
It's true. Have you come around yet, Mike?
Oh my god.
To the incorrect side, never.
Did anyone play Thawing Glaciers?
Yeah, I played
Yes.
Thawing Glaciers, and I think
Chewie
I
did.
activated it once, but I kept having to do other stuff, and it was a swamp, if I remember correctly, because somebody had an Urborg out.
Yeah, so you were just using it for mana.
Yeah, so I just kept tapping it for mana because I was doing big, crazy things.
I think I had a normal Urborg, and then you got an Urborg out of the stack.
No, Dirk did
Dirk did.
Yeah,
So.
I had an Urborg
That's
in
right.
my deck that game, so... Let's see, let me flip through this stack here. Kadama's Reach is a thing that I played, or somebody played.
Yeah.
Shog, Jaya, Beat the Dog. Pandemonium.
Oh, yeah, that did some stuff, too.
Didn't Pandemonium finish the game?
It did. Pandemonium closed out the game when someone played it.
Yeah,
I forgot that was
me.
out of the stack, honestly.
Yeah. Furnace of Wrath is a thing no one played.
It was in my hand.
Yeah.
Never a good time for that.
I had the, where is it? The Southeastern Judge Incident in my hand, but it needs 2 opponents to work. The Southeastern Judge Incident for a white is an instant. Reveal your hand to target opponent. When you do, another target opponent can't attack or cast spells this turn. And the flavor text is, wait, I'm banned? Why am I banned? So this is that thing where with the unofficial spoilers getting dropped in a group chat that a bunch of Southeastern judges were in, and they all got banned.
Yeah.
That
Wizards
was
decided to nuke them from orbit just to
yeah,
be sure.
that was a large mess, but So yeah, in the first game we played with the stack, this got stranded in my hand because I drew it when there were only 2 of us left. And I went pissed. So the ones that we drew but didn't use, we just stuck back into the pile. And then I drew it again in the next game. I was like, damn it. But the turn I was going to use it, I think is the turn that Brian died. Or somebody died. So it was just me and Mike. And I'm like, son of a freaking... Because I was going to use it to save... to keep Mike from attacking or something. And I couldn't because it needs 2 opponents. And I was not happy. Let's see.
One of the games, or the first game we did with the stack, I had Pestilence opening. It was like the very first one I got. Never played it, shuffled it back in. And then when we played game 2, I redrew it.
Oh, so it wasn't just me.
Never played it again. Didn't play it that game either.
Well, at least it wasn't just me.
I didn't have any reprints. I didn't have any redraws over the course of the 2 games.
Oh God, here's one that I was never gonna cast. It's out of the deck box. For 4 and a blue, you and target opponent reveal your hands to each other. Exchange up to 1 permanent on the battlefield and 1 card in their hand with cards from your collection. Your opponent does the same for you. This lasts until the end of the game, then give those cards back. And then you exile out of the deck box. And then the flavor text is, and no, I concede and leave so I don't have to give the cards back either, you jerk. Yeah, that was in my hand the entire game, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not casting this. Somebody had a City of Brass. I think that was Mike.
I might have, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Insurrection is in here. So that was the fake. Oh, Platinum Feather!
Yeah, Platinum Feather.
Which is so awesome.
I had that in the last...
but didn't do anything.
It's super awesome. Yeah, I had that in the last game we played, and I cracked it on the last turn to try to save myself, but I ended up dying from life loss, which it can't save you from. So the Platinum Feather is an artifact that costs 4. It's funny. It has the miracle frame, but it doesn't have a miracle ability. But I think that was a nice touch anyway. So tap and sacrifice Platinum Feather. You can't lose the game this turn, and your opponents can't win the game this turn. Until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. Yeah. So I knew I was about to lose. So I cracked the feather that I had on the board for a while. But it was the life loss from Baneful Omen that ended up getting me. So.
Yeah.
Didn't somebody play Blaze variant number 317?
I did.
Yeah.
And I think I got like 6 bonus damage out of it, which was really nice.
Did.
Yeah, what's that do?
Well, it costs a red and X and a red. It's a sorcery. It deals X damage to any target. Then, for each custom card or card from the special pile on the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to any target.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
So X was 4, and then the amount on the battlefield was 6, right? So you got to deal 4 and 6.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So I've just gone through the stack of the stack here, and there's only 3 other custom cards that we just haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So here's one. Inquest Magazine Mike played.
Mike did play
twice. Because I think it got bounced.
It did get bounced.
So Inquest Magazine for 2 mana is an artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2 mana. If you do, put a subscription counter on Inquest Magazine. And then for 1, tap and remove X subscription counters. Search your library for a card with converted mana cost X or less, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. X can't be 0. So
I don't
yeah,
think you ever got to activate that second ability.
he did once.
Did he?
I think you did, didn't you?
It's possible. I can't remember if I'm thinking of activating the Inquest magazine or like using Tajnard Swordsmith's ability.
Oh, it was the swordsmith because you were. I remember you going, well, I better make it one more number just in case I miss. But yeah, that was the swordsmith when you searched for, I think, 4 instead of just 3, just in case.
Well, I searched for 2 instead of 1.
Well, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you added 1 to the X.
But yeah, I did put some counters on Inquest, but it got bounced and then later it got destroyed.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got anything with it.
At some point, somebody either drew or played Baby Whale.
I think Dirk had it.
Ahem.
Yeah, I had it in my hand, but
Baby Whale.
Oh.
Aw.
Yeah,
Oh.
There we go. Whose flavor
But
text is in fact.
it never got
aw.
played.
Hey, where is Baby Whale?
I think it's at top.
Page 2.
Oh. Yeah, there it is. Oh, look at him. And then somebody either drew or played Laughing Fit.
Feel like Dirk.
I think
Played.
Dirk. Yeah, I think Dirk did.
I think so too.
Yes.
Yeah, because randomly at some point you started giggling and we were like, what? And he goes, remember that time Brian said hard on? And we were like, what? So yeah, Laughing Fit for 2 and a blue-red hybrid is an instant. Creatures target player controls get -3/-0 until end of turn. The spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets Chewie. Which is unfair. And yeah, the flavor text is, remember that time Brian said hard on.
And it got used. I think someone came after me,
Yeah.
and I knocked it, and I played that, and essentially was like, and nothing happens to you. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A cool breeze slapped me in the face.
Baby. So yeah, that's the all the cards that we saw.
Yeah.
Like there are a couple more in the pile here that are real cards. Dirk, I think, played a Visions of Beyond once. Just
Yes,
to
he
draw a
did.
card.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting because I kept asking him how many cards he had in his graveyard, and he had set. What we had done was we had set the special cards kind of to the side. They were supposed to still be in your graveyard if they would otherwise be in your graveyard, but we didn't want to have to like make a big deal about like sorting them out later. But so there were a couple times where we're like, "How many cards in your graveyard?" Oh, it's because he had a hunting ground.
Yeah, we kept
And so
asking
we were trying to figure out
because he
like,
hadn't
hey,
hit threshold yet.
Yeah, and he actually did hit threshold, and we're like, okay, just wanted to make sure.
Like at
But
some
that
point,
I'm not slamming him because we were all like we all had a graveyard and then like a secondary graveyard over to the side.
Oh no, I didn't. I
So-
just had a big pile.
Well,
At some point, I think Brian played a junk troller that didn't do anything. It just sort of sat
I
there.
did.
Its flavor text is junk. I did play the Nether Shadow.
Yeah.
That made me happy when I drew and then played the Nether Shadow from the stack. I was like, yay!
He's like, hey, my favorite card or creature, and I was like, oh, Nether Shadow, and the others kind of looked like, oh yeah. I don't know if Mike was just like trying to remember its name or what, but I'm like, come on, man, it's got to be the one. Dang.
There's a Darksteel Ingot in here, so someone played that?
I played it.
You can get
Ah,
the-
okay.
And when everything got wiped during one of the board wipes, all the artifacts, all the enchantments, everything, it was the one thing that survived.
Nice. There's a View from Above in here?
I had that, and I gave something flying just to like cast a spell. I kept thinking I might have to jump one of my guys up to block something, and I think I just ended up casting it at some.
You did, but I think it did accomplish something for you, but I can't remember what it was. It was a neat little thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know where View from Above on here is, but it's just essentially a thing gets flying.
Yeah.
Oh, there
and
it is.
Yeah, and if you control a white permanent, view from above goes back to your hand.
It used
Okay.
to be in my modern Jeskai Ascension deck
Oh yeah.
because if you can reduce the cost enough, it becomes free. If you have ways to, like, when you cast an instant spell, like untap some mana producers,
Mm-hmm.
and with the flavor text, with the rest of the text, if you control a white permanent, you bring it back to your hand, you can get an infinite loop. So shenanigans.
Oh yeah. Mike, I think it was Mike had a Loxodon Warhammer from the stack,
Yeah,
and
I think it got destroyed.
I think I
Oh, yeah.
killed that immediately. I don't even think you got to swing with it
No.
because you were at low life. Yeah, you were at low life, and I didn't want you gaining any
That sounds about right.
because I was playing a deck that when everyone's at low life, I win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
Yeah.
Courser of Krufix in here too.
Yeah, I think I've played that, and as always, I continue to reveal the top card of my library after it died because I always forget that.
Oh yeah, because you were like, and here's the top of my library, and we were like, okay, and then a minute later you went, wait,
it
no,
died.
and you flipped
It
it back over. Yeah. So yeah, it really did make everything better to play with these cards.
It did. It was that wonderful, perfect balance where it did not make the games drag on because we were playing with it, but at the same time, they were impactful. And it's really tough to strike that balance because you don't want it to be like, well, we couldn't tell a difference. But neither do you want to feel like, well, we weren't really playing Magic. We were just playing these. So they supplemented what we were doing, but and they certainly impacted the game, but it never felt like that was the only thing going on.
Yeah.
It was actually really kind of perfect. So and just all the care and love that went into them, and the fact that we all looked at them, were like, every single one, we're like, I know why this card is here. There might be one or two where like, I don't remember that one, but certainly all of them we've talked about or have been in our decks at some. So, geez, Magnor, like I don't even know what to say.
I do. Thank you.
That, yes, thank you.
Oh look, he just got here.
Good.
Hey,
I
we've
wonder
just
if
been talking about how awesome you've been for the
I wonder
last.
if he heard us gushing.
Were
Nope,
your
he
ears
did not hear
burning?
us gushing. Yes, you did manage to show up right at the end. Maybe not right at the end, but pretty close.
We have been talking about how awesome you are for the last 2 hours. So,
Hour and 40 minutes.
I'm Rob. So you
But-
should totally re-listen to the episode. We're just wrapping up now because we went
So
over. Yeah.
the other thing we did after Dirk left, we had dinner. And then after dinner, we did another thing that Mike brought.
That's right. We played the Trogdor board game.
Hey, Pinball Witch threw 10 bits for Magnor. Yay!
Yay.
Thank you. Yeah, Mike kicked the or backed the Trogdor board game.
Yep. I got my copy in the mail a week or two ago, and I had played a game of it the evening before. Ashley and I went to go visit some other people, and so I also decided, and that went well, and I decided to bring it Saturday to play with these guys. And we played it after dinner. Me and Chewy and Brian and Ashley and Carrie played it after dinner, and it was fun. I think we played 2 games. Yeah. Played 2 games.
It was a very well designed game.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do feel like more often than not, it's the right move to set a peasant on fire versus chomping them, just because of the potential for widespread chaos and the fact that they can cascade into each other.
Mhm.
But that being said, there is a level of strategy to it. And I've always thought that, not competitive, but cooperative board games, cooperative card games are a very interesting experience. So, yeah, it
Yeah.
was cool. Thank you for bringing it over and sharing it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I enjoyed it because it meant Carrie and Ashley joined us.
Yes.
It's
That was
true.
good. That
Because
everyone
it
could
wasn't
join in.
magic.
Yeah.
So that was
Indeed.
pretty freaking sweet.
Although, after you guys left, Carrie did say, now, what is Trogdor? She's like, I understood the game, but I kept feeling like I was missing something. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. But luckily, as she proved, you don't need to know what the hell Trogdor is to play the game, which is a big help.
Yes,
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
All you need to know is that you're a dragon burninating the countryside. And the peasants in the thatch roof cottages.
Thatch roof cottages! Sorry. No. And I felt kind of bad because we didn't start playing it until right before Sam went to bed, so she couldn't play with us. But that's okay. Only kind of bad.
Yeah, it might have. She's pretty smart, but if we want her to try it at some point, now that we have all had some experience with it, it will probably go a little easier than trying to explain the game to us and to her at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, like it helped that Ashley and I had gotten to play a game the night before to help the game that we played with you all.
So yeah, if you get a chance, I recommend. And I'm not someone that plays board games like at all. And I was talking to the dorks about this beforehand, and I said because the board games that I played, before board gaming was a thing, it was just like for kids. They all sucked because there were things like Sorry, which is miserable. And then I pointed at Brian's face and I said, "Are people that like Monopoly, like this guy?" And yeah. And it turns out that someone did make a Trogdor workshop on Tabletop Simulator. So hey, if you've got Tabletop Simulator on PC, you can go into the Steam Workshop, and there are, it looks like 3 different versions, one of which is rated 4 stars. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, I said, and I think this is an exact quote, after playing the first game with these guys, I said, I think I understand why adults get together to play board games now.
Yeah, because there are good ones out there.
Yeah, like there were... But like the only ones that I personally had ever played were either the crappy, mass-marketed ones that are only popular because, well, I played it when I was a kid, so I'm going to buy it for you. That, like, Sorry is really easy to understand, but it's a miserable game to play. Like, it's not fun. I don't understand how people keep doing it.
tradition.
And I guess. And, like, Risk, which is way better as a video game. It's miserable as a board game.
So,
yeah, it works so much better in digital.
So my Risk story is that on one of my family's trips to the beach, we brought a copy of Risk, and none of us had ever played before. We read the rules, we thought we understood how everything works, but we didn't think a country could attack more than once a turn. So inevitably, we tried it 2 or 3 times. We had these massive, like 4-hour-long games that always ended in a stall because you had like 2 or 3 people that were just so big that their borders were so well fortified, you couldn't get through them. You'd make an attack, they'd lose some people, and then it was done. So for my family, Risk became epitomis for the board game that you never play because you never finish the game. Later in college, I was playing with somebody and they're like, and I attack again. I'm like, you can't do that? That's how you're supposed to win the game. But I haven't managed to talk my family back into trying it again because they're like, oh no, I want to do other things with my day. So
Yeah. Or somebody that didn't quite, I don't remember who this was or even where, but somebody had some sort of god awful, horrible, overcomplicated board game that they wanted us to play, but they didn't quite understand it themselves. So it was that horrible thing that you've heard of where you spend 2 hours trying to get it all set up and figure it out, and then everyone gives up. So, like, that was awful. But anyway. But yeah, Trogdor, again, is really good. Quick, easy to learn, easy to play. And I'm gonna sneeze. That hurt. So hey, dorks.
hey,
Should we
Hey.
wrap this episode up? I think we've said all that we should.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm if it's all right with Dirk, I'm gonna go and take my final thought because I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open. It's just been a long day. I've been up since like 5. So just
go
real
ahead.
quick, I'll just keep this really quick. I do want to mention in my final thought. Well, I know that this is somewhat, I don't want to say controversial, but people have strong feelings about this.
Oh God, am I gonna have to edit this?
I don't think so. I'm just going to mention a Mark Rosewater article that went out on Monday
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
that went into why it's good to include diversity in your game, not just like mechanics and things like that, freshen things up, but also for representation. Because people like seeing other people that are like them, or even if we're not talking about people necessarily, they like to see different elements, different ways of life, different environments. I mean, you may not just want to, play a game where. Think about Star Wars. If every planet was a desert planet, we've got like 4 or 5 of them at this point. That's fine. But if every planet was a desert planet, that wouldn't be great. But he's more focused on representation. And I thought he did a really good job of not just jumping to like representation is good, so shut up, people. He's like, these are reasons why. And we have found that, I've gotten responses and and he goes through all that. And it kills me that when you go to his Twitter and you look at the link for him posting the article, one of the very first responses is, "This is such a face palm. I can't believe it because forced diversity is just bad." And I'm like, you didn't even try to read the article. You just saw what it was about.
The type
Yeah,
of
they
person
just read the
who's-
title and decided what they felt about it.
Yeah, the type of person who's gonna respond with that will never read those articles.
No.
So I know some people feel like, hey, we don't need to make games political. We don't need to push certain agendas, and I understand. But this is something that is not hurting anyone. This is literally, hey, we're including more backgrounds, more diversity in here. That can't be. I don't understand how that's taking away from anybody. But
Now more people can find more things to like about the game.
He mentioned that he's received such a positive outpouring from people since it was shown that Chandra was the first officially mixed character with mixed parentage race. I don't mixed ethnicity of her parents, which I don't think is something I even really noticed. And I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. That's awesome. It did not take anything away from me. And I'm sure for a lot of people, they're like, yes, something I actually see in myself or other people that I know. Or I just really like the way she looks. I think she's hot, even when she's not on fire, all sorts of stuff. So I thought it was a really interesting read. I could tell that he put a lot of time into it. And I think it would be very good reading for anyone that had the time, even if you felt differently about it. At least take the time to see where he's coming from, and and that is all I've got, gentlemen. You ladies, all the listeners out there, you guys have a fabulous morning, evening, or night when you're listening to this, and yeah,
Night B.
good night.
Let's see. So I can get rid of that. Get rid of that. Move Dirk over. I don't know why I do this, but because I can now, it's funny. There we go. There we go. Okay. So I guess Dirk?
Yeah, I'm pause. Sorry.
Do what?
All right. I was muted. I was eating earlier.
Oh, okay.
So, I've definitely for my final thought, I definitely miss us getting together and doing more of these more often, but unfortunately we have our very social lives that prevent us from doing it all the time, but whenever we do get together, it definitely has been a lot of fun. And the Magnor Criol's stack was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, it was. This is going to be a mainstay, isn't it?
I think it's going to be in there for at least the next
Oh yeah, we should bring it
however
back.
many we do for this year and maybe even next year, or at least until we get to the whole stack.
Yeah, because we got to finish running through it at least once. Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
Because I think every now and then we're like, well, we'll do an arch enemy one. We'll do plane chase. We'll do.
Usually after we do Arch Enemy, we're like, screw Arch Enemy and everything that looks like
It's like,
Arch
why
Enemy.
was it so bad? I don't remember why it was so bad. Then we do Archman. It's like, okay, we're never doing that one again.
Yeah, that sucks. Let's never do that. And then, like 2 or 3 years later, we'll be like, let's play some Arch Enemy. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't have been that bad. And then plane
Spoilers.
chase is always the plane chases always feels like the ones like, okay, someone is solidly the winner, and then we play planes chase. We go to some planes like, okay, that person is no longer the threat. Someone has definitely stepped up to the plate and has definitely supplanted the person who was the threat. But yeah, that's I think the thing that makes it more fun is these add a lot of variety to commander, and we don't build new commander decks or just decks in general as much as we used to. And so it definitely adds a lot of flavor and longevity to the decks that we have.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it a lot of fun. And with that, I will be heading off to bed.
All right. Well, night, Zerk.
Good night, everybody.
Well, everybody left again, Mike. Even though we did a short episode, everyone still is just like, nope, I'm out, bye.
Did we do a short episode?
I mean, shorter than usual.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. You made the good point again later on that if we can make it a point to get together more often for shorter visits, then we won't feel as compelled to have to block off entire days of doing nothing else for the times for when we get together in general, because it won't be like, oh, we haven't seen each other in 6 months. We got to see each other all day now.
Yeah.
And
again,
hopefully
as the two guys without kids, I don't understand why it's so hard to just go hang out somewhere else for a night. But I don't have any kids, so maybe I'm not supposed to understand that. I can go hang out wherever the hell I want to.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we can figure something out.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Because it would be nice to see you guys more than, ever and ever. By the way, we're Sunday afternoon, you said?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
That's if I'm available, that's when it would be. I don't think there's anything out there still.
Nice. For anyone that doesn't know, Hearthstone Blizzard announced nerfs today. So Mike and I have to do a nerf report because they go live on the 26th, which is what, Tuesday? Monday. Oh, God. Oh, God, we get nerfs and the ban restricted list update? Woo! It's going to be a hell of a day. The summer of Hogak might finally come to an end, Mike. Maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
Sorry. What was that? I was busy choking. Oh, so is that it? Is that it for you?
Yes, it is. It is.
Oh, okay. Well then, of course we do all the things here on twitch.tv/themanapool. It's where you could have watched the show live. You could have watched Monday Night Magic live. We're gonna do the Nerf report there live. We're gonna that's where I stream stuff. Earlier today, in fact, I did like a 3 and change hour Hearthstone stream where I made it from rank 4 all the way up to 2. The legend push is real because I've still got what is today? Today is the 22nd, so I've still got like 9 more days to try to hit legend, and I'm at rank 2 in like 2 or 3 stars. So I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to be playing Hearthstone a lot until I get there. Because I've never hit legend before. And I really want to. So, yeah. By the way, for those of you watching this live, I'm doing another daytime stream tomorrow because I have dinner plans. So, come hang out sometime during the day. Let's see. Oh, over on youtube.com/themanapool. What's going on there? At the moment, it's Human Fall Flat. An adorable, just disgustingly adorable, derpy, physics-based 3D puzzle platformer that I played with Steph, who is also adorable. Just disgustingly adorable. So, you get to watch us walk around and pick stuff up and look like drunken babies and shoot each other with a catapult, like out of a catapult, and fall to our deaths, and hug each other, dance. The game is just adorable. It's disgusting. I love it. I gotta get her back on a stream and try to finish it, because we didn't finish it, but there's going to be, I think, 6 episodes of that, and then I'm going to swap over to Titan Souls. So that'll be going up soon. That's a full run of Titan Souls, though, so that'll just be that. I'm going to try to work in some Hearthstone. I'm playing so much Hearthstone that going back through entire streams to try to find games to put in, to put on YouTube, just takes forever. So I haven't been, because when I'm playing one deck for the entire stream, like, I could maybe find a game or two to put up, but digging through 4 hours of stream to find a couple of games for a video or two doesn't sound very efficient, you know what I mean? So I don't know. That's why there hasn't been any Hearthstone going up on the YouTube channel just yet. But anyway, let's see, what else? I guess that's it for YouTube right now. Other stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, hey, if you want to help support what I do with, let's see, 2 podcasts a week, Monday Night Magic and The Mana Pool, there's at least one YouTube video every single day, and streams. I try to do 5 nights a week with the 2 podcasts and then 3 others. Tuesday night I'm off for Hearthstone, for Overwatch with the crew, because no one watches Overwatch, so I stopped streaming it because it was just bringing my average viewers down. And Sunday nights I try to not stream, for just so I have 2 nights not on camera. But usually every other night I'm streaming. Like I said, this Friday I'm doing a daytime thing, so yeah. But anyway, by the time anyone hears this or sees it on YouTube, that was in the past, so who cares? And then I had hiccups. But yeah, if you want to help support what I do with this ridiculous, truly ridiculous amount of content creation, you can subscribe on Twitch. If you've got Twitch Prime, you've got a free subscription to give out, so feel free to throw that at me. You can just subscribe normally on Twitch. That helps too. It's the same as far as I'm concerned on my end. you can go to use our link in Humble Bundle's website. So either buying bundles or buying things from the shop or whatever. If you use our link, then we get a percentage of anything you spend. And that actually helps. And it's real because they actually paid me last month for the first time. So I know that it's legit. It's always a question when there's like, oh, if you do nothing, you'll get money. I'm like, I don't believe you in the slightest. But then I did, so that helps. What else? What was I saying? Patreon is the most direct way. If you go to patreon.com/themanapool, sign up to be a lifeguard, and you can get some stuff for it. I'm working on reworking these perks to try to get more people more things, but I gotta put some more work into that just yet. So, but right now you can get YouTube videos and Manapool episodes early. That's the $5 a month. For $10 a month, you get the odds and ends, which is all the behind-the-scenes nonsense recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool. That's uncensored and unfiltered, and I'm miserably far behind on those. But I've got the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 or so. At least the first 2 steps are done, which it's a long, tedious process to get the odds and ends put together so that I can listen through it and take notes and delete any personal information and stuff. So having the first couple of steps done for like the next 9 is just such a help. So that's awesome. And you can, for the $20 a month, you get the sponsorship shout out on both podcasts and on all the end screens for every YouTube video that goes up, except for the podcast, because you're getting the verbal shout outs, so they're not on the end screen for those. So, yeah. And this is the time where I thank those mythic lifeguards, like so. A big thank you to Jason Doan, Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt. Hey, that's Magnor Criol. Al, Lance Delicious, Team You Hellas Are You, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Alex Gonzalez, Jeff Spencer, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Sophia Bertain, Casey, Faye Says, Danny Liao, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, Gothic Man, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, John Parker, Violet Moon, Aleph Cat, Dan Holm, Bartle, Sarah Jane, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. I did it! In one breath! Yes! That's the second time I've ever done that. I think it was Monday Night Magic last week. Was the first time. But yeah, so with that, thanks so much to all of our patrons or lifeguards at every tier. I literally could not do this without you because you allow me to, create all this content and still be able to pay the bills and the rent. So that's insanely important. So with that, I guess we're done with episode 564, huh, Mike?
Yes, sounds like it.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun, just talking about the cards that we got to play from the Magnor Stack. Yeah. So thank you again, Andrew, for sending us this and for all of the just ridiculous and insane amounts of time and effort that went into it. We really do appreciate it. It was a blast, and I can't wait to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that, we will be done. So, thank you all so very much for joining us, and go play some Magic.